pedal to the gas, we're watching it all. Covering the courtroom, big case or small. Laugh when we can, cry when we must, but it's all real talk, you can count on us. We're not the pros, just fans who care. With popcorn in hand and a comfy chair. And every twist, we're right there. Together like we're all in the witness chair. This is the Broken Baker, where the trials come alive, where the chat is wild and the vibes survive. We're watching the worst of what people do, but we keep it light, yeah, that's our truth. It's the only place for crime, and it feels just right. We bring the justice talk into your night. So hit that stream, don't miss the call. At the Broken Baker, we cover it all. Oh yeah. We're just laymen with the view, but we ask the things the world wants to. Digging through the facts, side by side. Even when it's dark, we bring the light. No clickbait, no fake feels, just truth and the highs and the reels. With the chat that roasts and writes, we're just here for the case and the vibes. This is the Broken Baker, where the stories unfold with a smile in the heart, even when it's cold. Yeah, we cover the bad with a wink and a grin. Where the real talk starts, come on, jump in. It's the only place to be, can't you see? For trials and truth, it's BBTV. Broken Baker, where the trials come alive. Yeah, we'll be here, trial after trial. Yeah.
Helen, it's not nice to call everyone hoes. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, whatever you are, what, if any, you might be. And welcome to a little time filler stream, because, as you know, yesterday we had the... I just did something stupid. That's not the first time. No, it's not. Yesterday, the judge told the Christopher Wolfenbacher audience that we will not be going till 12:30 today. So I thought, that's nice. You're going to sleep in, get all that rest you don't get. And then the meanies started saying, oh, you're relaxing again? Do you ever work? And I started crying, and they said, get to work. You're absolutely a disgrace to the streaming community. And I need new mods who doesn't yell at me all the time. Well, no, but this case is kind of an interesting one as well. This is just a bond hearing, so the case is far from being ready to go to court, but I still think it could be an interesting one to follow, because there's a few layers in it. We're talking about Sarah Grace Patrick, who is 17 years old, lived in Carrollton, Georgia, and she's accused of pew-pewing her mom and stepdad while they were sleeping in their home. It apparently happened this year. Oh, thank you so very, very, very much, Elaine. You are way too kind, and thank you for feeling my pain. Elaine Burris. Thank you so much. But you can confuse at me. Thank you so much, Elaine. It happened in February, the 20th February, and her 5-year-old younger sister found the bodies, and then Sarah called 911. There's nothing suggests forced entry, but a door was ajar. They haven't found the pew, according to her granddad. She was arrested on the 8th of July and is charged as an adult for 2 counts of unaliving and 2 counts of aggravated assault, which has later been a potential 8 charges. So we'll have to see that. The reason why they took her is her digital footprint, because apparently she went on social media and started telling true crimers, TikTokers about this, and it could be a big thing. So could it potentially be to get online fame? That's one of the theories in this case. She also apparently had expressed some wishes to live with her real dad because he wasn't as strict as the parents she lived with. And again, the granddad says there's nothing placing the gun in her hand. It was a devout Christian family. She was an active member of the church. We will hear testimony from one of the churchgoers or pastors. Everyone claims she's nice, she's friendly, that she's not a violent person. There's nothing, and that's what makes it a little bit weird. On the other side, the victims' families has said, we're afraid of her because if she could do this, she could kill us as well. And that's again based on what we don't know. But apparently, in the weeks and days and weeks after the parents was found, she made TikToks of her crying and talking about how much sorrow and confusion and worried she was. And she was talking to TikTok influencers in June of 2025 to try and tell them to cover the Brooke case, um, writing something like it would be a really big hit, which the police reads as it could be that she wanted to garnish online fame from this. Funny with the tie-in to the other Georgia case are having. Her account has been suspended, so we can't even see what is on there. They haven't stated a motive, but they claim that they have been looking into a lot of leads. So we don't know anything so far. And the bond hearing yesterday was to see if she could be released for bond. And we'll have to see how it goes. No spoilers, please. Yes, she did speak at the funeral as well. Hey, Peace. Well, isn't that special? I don't see the big footprint of mental history like Carly Gregg in this case so far. Rosie, thank you so much for sitting and giggling. But always participate in chat if you want. We need more people to keep Sue in her place. Yes, we have been listening to them. Me and Jemima have been listening to them. She also seems like she's really, really weird. I think that's probably more for a Mo stream, maybe, because she has her Snark Express, and that woman is delusional. Hey, Dr. Rachel. Hey, Fedorowski. How much older was the boyfriend? There's no boyfriend mentioned in this case. Every moron with a camera is an influencer these days. Oh, hey, Baker. I am a YouTube creator, not an influencer, because I can't figure out to do the right angles, and I always forget to take pictures when I'm out. Where's Sue supposed to be? Well, Sue is supposed to be, well, I wouldn't say beaten down and humbled, because she helps my mods make my life a living hell. No, Sue is a good egg, and she knows I'm just kidding. We kid because we love. Well, and apparently all the counties. So, but let's try and see this. I'm planning that we're going to do this, then we're going to break for lunch, and then at around 12:20 we're coming back, because court is supposed to be back at 12:30 in the Wolfenbacher case. I didn't forget it. I'm not jumping off of the case, but if you weren't listening yesterday, the judge said 12:30 start time today. I know they go late, so you might have been out picking up your kids, going home from work, buying that bag of Twinkies I really wish we could have in Denmark. But you don't need Twinkies, fatso. Jamie, be nice. And that's why I thought let's do this in the morning so we have something. Hey, Dave. You could say never move to the USA. No, I wish I could move to the States. I love America. Certain parts of America. I don't like New York while I'm drinking out of my New York police mug. Twinkies, you can't buy those in Denmark, probably because the food dye is illegal in Europe. I think our surprise guest was hanging out over in the wonderful Catnut Williams's chat, and that's she got transported over here. I heard somewhere that most Europeans hate Twinkies. We don't have them, so we don't know. I like them, but I like everything that's very bad for you. And well, I don't, but I like all of that stuff that's just. When I go to America and people are saying, "Oh, what are you gonna eat over there?" Everything that's bad that we can't get. I'm going to Dairy Queen because we don't have Dairy Queen. I can get a burger at any restaurant, a cafe burger, as we call them. So why should I go to a restaurant? I want to go and get all the stuff we can't get, and we can't get Twinkies. I had moon pies. I don't like moon pies. I like red Mountain Dew as well. Yeah, but so is food everywhere. Our surprise guest was the daughter of Tina, the one whose sister was unalived. She was here yesterday, and giving her takes on the case. And wonderful to have new people here. I should have set it in subscribe only mode so she could have been a subscriber of mine. Well, what's Twinkies? Twinkies is like a little sponge cake with a cream filling. Well, I tried to try Waffle House, but it's too late in the day every time we drive by. So Valhalla says, Simba, never go there. Mountain Dew is good. Marissa, you're wrong about every food item in the world. Mountain Dew is great. Dr. Pepper is even better. Dr. Pepper energy drinks. Oh my God. Those are the best energy drinks, but we can't buy them in Denmark. I can only get them in Germany. And when I factor in the gas price, it gets a little pricey. Yeah, but I can understand people coming to Europe wants to try the European cuisine. No, not every Italian restaurant has unlimited breadsticks, because that's different. But we can get real food here, so we want all the trash food when we go there. You are talking my love language. Fat and sugar. We don't have Waffle Houses. Mhm. I wonder if defense has Melissa's son on their list. No, I don't think so. Because he would have no independent knowledge of what happened back then. Well, it is a sponge kind of thing, so kind of. What glass bottle pop do you have in Denmark? Normally, every 25 centiliter soda is in a glass bottle, but you don't see many of those these days. Everything is half a liter now, but actually, most you see today is the cheap ones. Yeah, that's why I go to America once a year and I live like shit, and I go home and hit the gym after. Twinkies are sold in grocery store in boxes. Yeah, and they're wonderful. Would you ever want to travel to Texas? No. They have rattlesnakes. Hello, mess. Yeah, well, I see no boxes in my cupboard. Actually, the Swedes have gotten a Costco, so I will never go to a Costco. They are Swedish. I never had a tasty cake. Yeah, we still have, but the cheap ones, because they are the 25 centiliters, but most of it today will be plastic half liters. We didn't switch cases, Brandon, but the other case won't go till 12:30. So just so you don't have to sit at home and dream about your next colonoscopy, I am bringing on a bond hearing that was going on yesterday because I am a giver. Just ask Valhalla. But let's get into it and hear about this bond hearing and see what comes out of it.
Yes. All right, maybe see. If you would, just slide that mic closer to you when you sit down and just speak loudly and clearly into the microphone. Yes. All right, thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Bonner.
Good morning.
Or should I say pastor?
Just Ben.
Just being, all right. Where do you work?
I'm lead pastor at Catalyst Church, Carrollton, Georgia.
That's here in Carrollton.
Brandon is alive. I just lost another $20. Don't put Brandon on the death pole. Come on now. Deadpool, sorry. Zach, that's not nice. And Brandon said yesterday, if he can just get the blood of a virgin, the pancreas of a young child, and have some dark ritual done in a temple in India, he will be fine. Galima, yaktade, Galima. Well, so you have been faking it the entire time. Don't have. I think I've had a ho-ho. That's a chocolate milk, right? And cream pies, I deliver those.
Georgia?
Yes, sir.
About how far is it from this location?
113, couple miles. I'm geographically challenged, not my gift, but 2 to 4 miles,
Okay.
I guess.
About how many minutes would you think?
From here, it depends on time of day, 5 to 10.
All right, 5 to 10 minutes, so not very far.
No, ma'am.
How long have you been the pastor at Catalyst Church in Carrollton?
We started Catalyst in 2017, so since the beginning, I was the founding.
Oh,
I'm
that's
one of
you.
the founding pastors
And do you have services every week?
every week.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
what days are those services on?
We have 2 services on Sunday, 9 and 10:30.
Oh, I like a church that could get it over with.
Now, in relation to this case, were you asked to write a letter about?
Do I like Danishes? We call it Vienna bread. We don't call it Danishes. But yes, as long as it's not those horrible, horrible things that you Americans call Danishes and put cream cheese in. The guy who invented that should be summarily executed, revived, and executed again.
Sarah's character.
Yes, I was asked to write a letter. Well, I honestly offered anything I could do to help any of the family. Want to be a support.
May I confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what's been marked as defense bond exhibit 2. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I actually brought a copy, so in case I need to read it.
Is that your letter?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anything been altered or deleted from it?
No.
Okay. Defense seeks to tender defense bond exhibit 2.
Any objection from the state?
Okay.
All right, it'll be admitted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pastor, would you read that letter that you prepared?
Yes. To Honorable Judge, my name is Ben Bonner, and I serve as lead pastor at Catalyst Church in Carrollton, Georgia. I'm right.
He has a very expressive body language, yes. Maybe he's just one of those excited people who looks kind of like a dog with a ball bouncing in front of them.
Writing on behalf of Sarah Grace Patrick, a young woman who's been a part of our church family for about a year now. Sarah Grace first came to Catalyst around a year ago. From the beginning, she was eager to grow in her faith and get involved. She made a personal decision to be baptized not long after attending, and has stayed consistently connected to the church ever since. She didn't just show up on Sundays. She came during the week as well, asked questions, served, invited others, including her boyfriend at the time, and clearly found a place where she felt at home. Throughout the past year, and even through the challenges of this year, she has continued to attend services regularly. She and her family often travel over an hour just to be with us. I've spoken and prayed with Sarah Grace many times throughout this season. Her commitment to staying grounded in her faith and connected to a healthy community has remained steady. She's even called from jail multiple times so I could pray with her. Her father has also become an active part of the church. He was baptized recently, and he still comes to services faithfully. It's a privilege to walk with their family during such a difficult time, and we love and care for them deeply. If it's possible and the court sees fit to grant Sarah Grace bond, we would gladly continue to walk alongside her as a church. We believe having her with her family and church community is an important part of her support system. We're committed to loving her well, encouraging her, and helping her continue on a positive path. Thank you for your time considering this. Sincerely, Ben Bonner.
Thank you.
Oh, he has
Pastor,
brevity.
are there
I like
members
that.
of your church, the congregation here in the courtroom with us, or are you in the hallway?
They're in the hallway. I brought a few staff, and then there's some other church families spread out that were connected to Kristen James, Sarah Grace, all the family, which they brought to the church.
Now, you said that Sarah and her family came back in August of last year. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When they came, were they just attending, or were they further engaged in activities at the church?
No, they the entire family, James, Kristen, Sarah Grace, they jumped right in. That's why it's hard. They became very, very beloved between August and February. I mean, our church family adores all of them, everybody, we're for the entire family. So.
And Sarah, specifically as it relates to Sarah Grace, was she involved or engaged in other programs throughout the church other than attending Sunday services?
Yes, the entire family in multiple teams. The entire family, multiple teams from cleaning to kids, kids ministry. I have a staff now, so and a lot of team leaders. The church looks a lot different the last several years with growth, but they were engaged in multiple teams. And if you ever need me to give a list, because I don't want to misspeak, I could get an actual list of all the things the family and Sarah Grace were engaged in.
But just safe to say they were involved in more than just Sunday services.
Yes, they were there in the week. They were there during the week, not just on Sundays helping.
All right. Now, you said in your letter that family still comes over an hour to come to your church.
Thank you, Purple Pixie Dogs, for becoming a member. How big is this church that he has an audience? Or he has people working for him? Our churches are so small that most of them share workers because not many Danish people go to church anymore. What? Wait a sec. Is this on XY? Everyone up? Boner check. Is this an XY? Oh, yeah, this is a man. No bonus. No bonus.
On Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you referencing DJ?
DJ, yes, DJ, and then DJ Junior, little DJ, and everybody still comes except, of course, Jaylee, because she lives away with her grandmother. That's a long drive, but they all actively come and consistently. Even now that Sarah Grace hasn't been able to come, they continue to come consistently.
And just for clarity, who is DJ?
Sarah Grace's father. Thank you. I want to make sure I'm clear.
No problem. Now, you indicated that you would do whatever in your letter to help in this regard with Sarah. have you facilitated people at the court's instruction before?
Over the years, multiple times I have come to this room a couple of times and offered to facilitate any way that would, if there's any way to make the court and you feel comfortable, we'll do anything we can to facilitate. We just want to help. Y'all have a great calling. Ours is to support love. Y'all are the jury and the judges. And so anything we can do, we're willing to help, to make that happen.
And coming to a close here.
She has a
you indicated that
younger
Sarah still
sister
calls
who
you,
found the
while
dead
she's been
bodies.
incarcerated. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you,
I know this is a newer concept, but it's her mom and stepdad who's killed. She still has her dad. Some people, apparently also very devout Christian families, get divorced. So that's why one of the reasons could have been she wanted to live with her real dad because the family was too strict. But it's all speculation and rumors so far.
have conversations with Sarah, are the substance of those conversations about do you believe me or anything like that?
Two things she calls us.
No, as you can see in the bottom, it's a bond hearing. Is she to be released on bond or kept in prison?
And two things every time. One is to thank me for everything.
And as always, anyone is innocent until proven guilty, except second suit.
Particularly for her dad. He's just engaged. He's growing. He's really growing his relationship with God. I can never make sense of tragedies like this. It's terrible what everybody's been through. But watching Beauty for Ashes and seeing DJ love the Lord and engage in his faith is beautiful. So she'll call me first. He came to the altar a couple of times. We've been able to pray with him recently. So there's victories that she'll call and thank me and then ask me to pray for her. And she's actually reading some books that were recommended to her that changed my mother's life. My mother was a pretty rough addict, and those books vicariously through her changed mine. And so she's reading them, and so she'll talk to me about that. So it's three things: prayer, thankfulness, and what she's reading.
All right, that's all I have for you, Ben. The state may have some questions for you.
Okay, thanks.
I haven't dug that far into it.
All right, thank y'all.
Pastor Bonner, you've testified, so you're welcome to stay in the courtroom unless y'all think there's any other reason for him to. All right, you can remain in the courtroom.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, DJ is her dad, and the stepdad is the one who got
Keith.
a pew-pew. Oh, she has her best t-shirt on.
Loudly and clearly to the microphone.
Yes,
okay? Thank you.
Is it okay if I call you Katie?
Yeah, before.
I know there's no jury in the room, but having a t-shirt on in support of Sarah Grace, I know you love and support your family, but still.
Okay. All right, Katie. How do you know Sarah Grace?
You need that spelling? Okay.
My name's actually Caitlyn.
Could you state your name?
My name's Caitlyn O'Keefe, Kaitlin, O''Keefe.
All right.
Well, you could take your church t-shirt on at least.
How do you know Sarah Grace?
I met Sarah about 3 days after all this happened with her mom and dad.
And how did you come to meet her?
I was friends with her dad. We used to play cell phone games. He told me what happened. Told me that the kids didn't have any clothes, like that since the house was closed off, they didn't have anything. So I've taken in a child or two in my time. So my heart broke for it. And I was like, please let me take her shopping. So I came and picked Sarah up and took her to get clothes, underwear, deodorant, your basics.
And since that time, so that would that have been a date?
It was February 23rd or 4th, I believe. Yeah.
And since that time, did you continue a relationship with Sarah?
Yeah. Sarah actually ended up moving in with me. It was a better situation for her. I had an extra bedroom. She came to stay with me after everything happened with her mom. She used to lay in the bed. She would cry and sob, and I'd watch her grieve.
Did you have any disciplinary problems or any type of issues with Sarah while she was at your house?
Not even one, honestly. Like, I've had some teenagers and one that gave me a hard time, and Sarah was a pleasure. She was easy.
Do you still have a friendship or any type of relationship with other members of Sarah's family?
Yes, I talked to her grandma, grandpa, her dad, and little brother live with me. I talk to Sarah every day.
Does the dad live with her also? I don't know what cell phone games you play, but I recently learned that to get in the pants of an American woman, you need to treat her to Waffle House. But are you courting someone if you're playing cell phone games?
Since she's been incarcerated, you've spoken to her?
Every day.
Every day.
About a year
And,
before, miss.
Do you all pray together as Pastor Ben indicated or anything like that?
Every day. You can't stop her from praying.
Now, are you aware if at any time during her stay with you, did she have a driver's license?
No, she had her permit and we would go practice driving. She wasn't ready to get the license yet. She was out.
Her name is
Safer
O'Keefe.
for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. And does she have access to her own personal vehicle that you know of?
No.
During the time that she was with you, was she attending school?
She actually worked really hard and graduated a year early.
Where was she attending?
She was going to Central here in Carrollton.
And you said she graduated early. What do you mean by that?
And she worked hard. She was on track.
I think
to
the
graduate
state
early
will
before all this
close
happened,
today.
but, I mean, even after this happened, like there were some rough times, but when we found,
I have been taught that you can have smacks on the top of a Waffle House. So AJ doesn't watch my show. She wants quality. That's why she only watches her own show.
a peaceful moment, I'd be like, let's get your schoolwork done. Let's make your mom proud by showing her you finished this. You know, and that was a big goal for Sarah.
And do you know how old Sarah is?
She's 17.
Did you know, or during the time that she was with you, did she have a job?
She did. She worked on the street at a local restaurant.
And do you know if there were any problems that you are aware of at the restaurant?
No, they loved her. They still love her. They ask about her all the time when I go up there.
I believe that's all I have for you. I don't know how the state may have some questions.
All right. Thank you.
State, any questions?
I think I have just one for clarification. You did not know the defendant prior to the shooting, is that right? You
No.
got to see it after that?
After.
That was on-
Thank you. Can you follow up?
No.
All right. Can this witness be excused?
Yes.
All right, maybe excused, you can remain in court, okay? Neither of you asked for sequestration, it's not really necessary here, but y'all are good?
I'm good, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
We call Carrie Jensen.
Carrie Jensen? What they did, truth-
Yeah,
truth-
both of them were
truth-
found with pew
Please see it.
pews.
Speak loudly and clearly.
In the head.
Let's just start off by stating your name and spelling it for us, before we get that name.
Carrie Jensen, Carrie Jensen.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Jensen, how do you know Sarah?
Thank God that you helped Brandon out, or whatever entity he might. Probably smells a little more like sulfur. But God, can you also give me the wisdom to remember to read Brandon's text, because he's been so wholesome for the last 2 months that I have forgotten the simple rule. There will always be a twist to a Brandon text. Thank you, big guy.
Met Sarah when she was in 7th grade. Her and my daughter became best friends, and I became really good friends with her father and stepmother at the time.
Okay. And so you've known her since 7th grade. How old is that?
13, 12.
Okay. And during that time, have you known Sarah Grace to cause you any problems or get into any mischief with your daughter or anything like that?
Not at all. I mean, they fight over boys. But no, she's been an angel.
Just typical teenager stuff.
Typical teenager stuff.
Now, during the course of this case, were you asked to, or did you offer to write a letter in support of Sarah?
I sure did.
May I approach them?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you, Carrie, what's been marked as defensive bond exhibit 7. Do you recognize it?
I do.
And what is it?
This is my letter to Judge Hightower.
And has it been changed or altered or any deletions or additions in any way?
No.
See to defense bond exhibit 7.
Any objection from the state?
No, no.
It's admitted.
Yeah, they're wearing T-shirts that says "Stand with Sarah Grace." That's her name, Sarah Grace Patrick. There's no jury in the room. This is just to tell the judge that she's a sweet kid. She would never hurt a fly. He should give her a very, very low bond, and they will all make sure she doesn't go cray-cray and just start blasting. And then there will be people coming in when the state, because this is opposite world, the defense goes first because it's their case today. And then the state will bring in people who says she is probably the spawn of Sue because she is that evil, and you should never ever give her bond. So it's just a bond hearing. They can wear whatever clothes they will. Still, I find it a little weird because I would look at it and say, okay, you are clearly very, very biased.
Sorry for the numbers being a little off. I didn't know who would be here. Who would be.
It's all right.
All right. Would you
Yeah, I
please
saw
address
that
your-
as well.
Sure. Dear Judge Hightower, my name is Carrie Jensen, and I'm writing this letter on behalf of Sarah Grace. I first met Sarah when she was in 7th grade. She and my daughter attended the same middle school, and her stepsister played softball with my daughter. Our families quickly grew close. Sarah would spend weekends at our house, and my daughter Caitlyn would do the same at theirs. We've shared camping trips together and weekends at West Point, creating strong bonds between our families. They have been best friends since. At the time, Donald and Kristen were in the middle of a custody battle. When I first met Sarah, she was a little shy, very sweet, kind, and humble. She was cautious around new people, but soon she warmed up to me and once told me I had a motherly presence that made her feel safe. As our relationship grew, she began to open up to me about her past and experiences with Kristen and James. One thing she said that has always stayed with me was, no matter what they've done, I will always forgive them and love them, because deep down, I know that's not who they truly are. This statement showed the depth of Sarah's heart. She truly believes in forgiveness and has always extended the same grace to others. She once told me that holding grudges isn't what God wants for us, and I've carried that wisdom with me ever since. While staying at our house, Sarah was full of life, happy, upbeat, and in many ways a typical teenager. But there were also signs of trauma she endured. She would often apologize for things she never had to, like she would asking for food, taking a shower, or using the bathroom. It was heartbreaking. Despite that, she remained incredibly kind, respectful, and especially patient with my son, who is on the autism spectrum and is the same age as Sarah. She was fiercely protective of him and everyone she cared about. Sarah has a huge heart. She is loving, protective, and deeply rooted in her faith. She has always expressed a strong, She has always expressed a strong desire to work in radiology field and has never been afraid of hard work. Hurting someone simply isn't in her nature or character. Over the years, I have held her through moments of deep pain and tears, and through it all, her love to her family, especially her siblings, Jaylee and Donnie, has remained unwavering. She would never do anything to harm them. She wants only to protect them. I respectfully ask that you consider granting Sarah Grace bond. She is not a threat to anyone. She is deeply loved and supported by my family, by me, and her own family. I truly believe she deserves a chance to be home, surrounded by those who care about her. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
There was a reverse exorcism missed somewhere here. People need to try harder to pull certain priests out of children's lives. No comment. On Wednesday, we do thumbs because when you want to send asinine messages in Baker's chat, you better be effing swole.
Now, you indicated that she deserves to be home in your opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
And would you agree, or you can disagree with me, that you would be a part of her village if she were home?
Absolutely.
And what would that entail?
Whatever she needed. If she needed a place to stay, she can stay at our house. She needed rides. Me, my daughter, or my husband would be more than glad to take her anywhere she needed. Whatever she needed is at her disposal with us.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen. That's all I have, and if you'll hand it over to the judge,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and the state may have to.
Yes, ma'am.
State, any questions?
A handful, Bill. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Michael Parrish. I'm representing the state of New State. You said that your daughter and the defendant went to school together, is that right?
Yes, they did.
What school was that?
They went to East Coweta Middle.
Are you aware that at some point the defendant attended an alternative school?
Yes.
And what's that alternative school? How does that function?
I'm really not familiar with that. I'm so sorry.
Is that related to disciplinary issues as far as you understand?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You said you would be part of her village and that she could actually stay with you.
If need be.
Do you live here in Carrollton?
No, I live in Wadowee, Alabama.
Now in Alabama?
Yeah.
So, I don't think I have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Another question?
Are you reason to hold this witness?
No, you're not.
Not in the section.
You may be released as you can stay in the courtroom. Intimidating, okay, we gotta be able to hear you, so when you sit down, speak clearly in that microphone, and look, you're here as a witness, so there's nothing to be afraid of. All right, so take your time, take a deep breath. I'm not gonna let anybody. get
She looks
you
like
back.
Liv
All right,
Taylor.
Okay, so grab a seat right there, and let's try it out with your name. All right, go say your name loudly and clearly, and then spell it to my court reporter.
My name is Caitlyn Jensen, Caitlyn
TLYNJENSEN.
All right, if you stay right there, we're gonna be.
A little too much makeup, young lady. Um, just a few people. We have no motive. We have no rumors about anything. And always remember, spreading rumors about dads or stepdads doing stuff is very, very frowned upon in my chat because it is really detrimental to men when that accusation is made. So just before we go all the way out there and say, well, I saw his eyes twitch in the wrong way, so he probably, we don't condone that on this channel. We can speculate on a lot of things, but until we have something, please don't bring those type of allegations because there's people will think there's never smoke without a fire and they will just run with it. And on the internet, one feather turns into 5 chickens faster than Brandon can make up a dirty joke. So please be considerate of the people who are left behind or passed away before we have facts. Don't spread allegations like that because it's way too easy to accuse and way too hard to take it back. You can't put toothpick back in the tube because it's actually under pressure. Under pressure.
Okay. If you go any lower, I'm gonna have to pick it up a little
Hey,
bit.
Tom.
Yes, sir.
Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Caitlyn, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
And are you and Sarah friends?
Yes, ma'am.
And is Carrie your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I heard your mom say that you guys went to school together, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
At East Carolina?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you gone to school together since then, or that was the last time you went to school together?
I'm gonna say 9th grade. She started at East Carolina High School, and then she moved.
Is that when, do you know if that's when she moved with your mom?
I'm gonna say yes.
Now, so that was 9th grade, but have you guys continued to be friends since then?
Yeah, but someone else said, well, is it a stepdad thing? Implying, and don't imply stuff like that because we saw it in the Carly Gregg case where there was absolutely nothing to substantiate that. And if people were watching, I know no one watches my little shitty show, but imagine if you had 10 times my audience of making allegations like that and someone saw it and started running with it in your local community, you destroy people's life faster than childhood diabetes. In fact, 1 in 10 cops are sexual predators in the US. And I believe 9 out of 10 female teachers are the same if I go by what I see in the media. Someone was involved in an AIDS-related accident. Well, Brandon, I told you it was AIDS when you started complaining. But you got better, just like Magic Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say friends, talk to me about what that looks like. Are you guys talking on the phone? On
Alita, Brandon is our local. We're going to test the limits. He is a very friendly fella. You have to have a little bit of thick skin. Sometimes he'll say things, and he is. If you have a dark sense of humor like I do, he's a funny guy. If you're new, you'll get used to him. He will entertain. He's as safe as a kitten wrapped in bubble wrap. He's just like Zach, all bark and no bite.
Via Snapchat sometimes. We would call, I'd check in on her. I was never allowed over at her house.
but she was allowed at your house.
Yes, ma'am, I'd go and get her.
I'm sorry, I didn't get
I would go and get her.
that. Okay, you were going to get it. So you have a
We haven't had the arraignment yet. This is just a bond hearing. She's just being kept in prison. The arraignment is supposed to be because of course Jemima already found it. The arraignment is supposed to be September 22nd. That's when they will have to provide what they have to keep her in prison. So right now they have her. They believe she did it because of her internet activities. Other than that, there's really nothing out there. Her family have stood by her the entire time, and the opposite side, not so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have a driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
And we shouldn't be scared.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm a great driver.
Okay. Now, so you guys have kept in touch over the years, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and, when you guys keep in touch, what sort of things do you do?
Well, usually I go and get her, and then we go to the gas station and get something to eat. It's an hour 30 drive back home, so we blast music like teenagers would do, going home. And we go home, and I have a 2-year-old son, and we would play with him for hours until he fell asleep.
What?
And then we watch movies.
Okay.
So we
Wasn't she 16 years old and she has a 2-year-old son? I started drinking young, but I didn't start having kids until my 20s. What? The woman who took her was your dad's girlfriend? No, but dad stayed with her or something, and they played phone games. I know biology allows that, but does the law? Because in Denmark, you have to be 15 years old before you are pants adult, which means you can invite someone else into your pants. 14 years old. Don't tempt us.
Now, at any time, have you,
Well, she got pregnant when she was
have you
14.
talked to Sarah since
13.
she's been, incarcerated?
I have.
And what are those conversations been like?
Telling me she
See,
loves
Brandon,
me.
you're
She's
back.
So thankful for me. She was excited to get to go on the jet skis again one day, have fun, be a teenager. And
No,
then
but it's still very young to have a kid.
Now, are you attending church too?
I used to.
Well, you're not at Catholic church.
No, ma'am.
Because that's
It's
too
far.
far.
It's far.
No problem. Now, were you in contact with Sarah after the incident happened?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have any concerns about Sarah leaving or running or trying to get away anywhere?
No.
Okay. Did she ask you to come pick her up and take her back to Alabama and hire her or anything like that?
No.
Okay. I think that's all I have for you, Caitlyn.
Thank you.
State any questions?
I just have one question. When was the last time that the defendant was in Alabama at your house?
I really don't remember the date. It was the day
The impregnator will most likely be grape, because you're not allowed to bang anyone under 15, and we have that. It's legal, but it's very frowned upon. And we actually have one in our national parliament right now who is 37 years old and dating a 16-year-old. That made a lot of news because normally you'll say when you're 15, you'll bang up to 18-year-olds. That's the acceptable thing, but apparently some people like them young. Teen Mom casting couch goes awry yet again. Well, they need to be moms to get on Teen Mom.
I took her. She said she may get her phone back, and I took her that day. And then I took her to Widowee. We were gonna have a sleepover, and then we got the phone call that she needed to come back home.
So if I were to tell you that she was arrested July 9th, you would say sometime in the day just before that.
July 8th.
July 8th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No
You're
further.
welcome.
No further questions.
All right, need a reason to hold this witness.
No, you're right.
None.
All right, you may step down. Thank you.
Tasha Meza.
Tasha Meza. Sweet. Come up. I'll give you some direction once you're up there.
Hey, Carol.
All right, you'll come on and remain standing and raise your right hand. You swear affirm the statements you give before the court today, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you know. All right, you may be seated. If you would, speak loudly and clearly to that microphone, and let's start off by just stating your name and spelling it for my court reporter.
Tasha Mesa, Tasha.
No, the impregnator. Marissa, even if a young flower is standing in a field. And then a young bee flies around. Just because the flower is young, that bee will still have to visit and pollinate the flower for the flower to be able to grow new flowers. So they won't arrest the parents, but if you are impregnating someone that young, you can be held for graping. Yes. Yes. Well, it's okay, Peace Geek, but I'll just always tell you, instead of saying, is it a stepdad thing, say, is there any allegations? And that's not, because if there was allegations, I would have brought it up when I went through the case, because that is a very important fact. If I say nothing about that, always assume, because in this chat you can assume, because I'm an ass, that there is no allegations of any wrongdoings so far by any men in any capacity. It's just it's too easy to get started with the probably the dad did it, and then we'll end up somewhere where I will be screaming and Jamie will be closing down the stream. Just we have had a lot of focus on it in Denmark with these fake allegations, because it just ruins people's lives. And I don't know how big whatever they live in are, but could be very easy to get rumors out there.
That's an MECA.
Thank you.
Ms. Jensen, how do you know Sarah Grace?
I met Sarah after me and Kristen became friends. I was at the doctor's office and just invited her to church. And then we
No, she must have been 13 years old when she got impregnated, because she was 16 and had a 2-year-old. So she must have been 13 when she got impregnated.
became really good friends.
And when you say church, are you talking about the Catholic church?
Yep.
Where Pastor Ben is the pastor?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you
The witness who was just on the stand, who was 16 years old, had a 2-year-old son. I love how these will end up about everything other than what the case is, because my brain just goes into a hole.
invited them to church, did they ever come?
Yeah. 2 weeks later, they come
And did they continue to come after that?
every Sunday.
To your knowledge, were they involved in activities throughout the week or just Sunday service?
At first, it just started at Sunday service, and then as they grew in the church, they become more involved.
Now, were you able to observe or spend time with?
No, then she will be
or have a relationship with Sarah Grace?
the older one carries
Yes,
the burden.
her and my daughter were friends, so I've seen them quite often.
And so since you go to the Catholic church, I'm assuming you stay local somewhere close by?
Yeah, I only stay about 2 minutes from the church.
2 minutes from the church, so what, 7 minutes from here maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. And at any point, okay, so let me ask you this. When did you meet Kristen?
It was back in August.
Of last year?
Yes.
And when you met her, during that time, how often would you say that you had occasions to spend with her and Sarah?
For the beginning of the part, we just stayed on the phone mainly, and then as we grew closer, we went to birthday parties and cookouts and that sort of thing. So I mean, it was a few times.
But would you agree that most of the time you spent with at church?
Yes.
Now, did you hear Pastor Ben?
There's no jury, it's a bond
testify?
hearing.
A
But I
little bit.
agree.
He indicated that he and the church would be willing to facilitate Sarah in any way, if Judge Hightower were to give her a bond. Are you do you share that sentiment?
I agree.
And would you be willing to be a part of Sarah's village to help facilitate her here in Carrollton in some way?
I've already been a part of it, so I'm not going to stop now.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
State any questions?
Nothing to do.
All right, you're good.
Oh, she was
Any
fast
reason
out of
to
that
lose?
chair.
Yeah, you know,
All right, you can be excused.
Don't sack.
My last witness is Ms. Shavina Rogers.
No wheelchairs.
Can y'all approach just a minute? You would same as the others. Once you're seated, just state your name and spell it from a court reporter, please.
My name is Shavina Rogers, spelled Shaveeena. Last name Rogers, Rogers.
Pardon, Ms. Rogers, how are you employed?
I'm employed by the state of Georgia at the Georgia Public Defender Council.
And what's your job title?
I'm a criminal defense investigator.
And are you a criminal
She has a cute face.
defense investigator for me and my office?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And have you been working on this case at my direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, do you recall?
Well, that's
me
because
asking
they make food
you
with a lot
to,
of salt in it.
Run a GCIC on Sarah Grace Patrick?
Yes.
12:30.
And would you briefly explain what a GCIC is?
GCIC is a Georgia Criminal Investigation Center and is ran by the GBI, the Georgia Borough Crime System. And what I do is for each client, I run their CCH, client or witnesses of each case, I run their CCH, and that's their computerized criminal history.
Okay. And did you do that for this case?
I did.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what's been marked as offensive bond exhibit 1. Do you recognize it?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
It's Sarah Grace Patrick's criminal history record.
Okay, and is that the criminal history record that you ran through?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the report that you received once you put it into the computer?
Yes.
Has it been changed or altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
Since you admit defense bond exhibit 1.
Any objection from the state?
No objection.
All right, it'll be admitted.
Now, when you ran that GCIC or criminal history on Sarah Grace Patrick, was there any return?
Just one.
Okay, and what was that return?
What we are here for today, the same case number.
Okay, and would that indicate to you that she had not been arrested in the state of Georgia for anything else?
No prior criminal history.
Now, in
It's just a good friend of Valhalla's who
the
cooks with a
course
lot of salt.
Also investigating this case, have you talked to witnesses? I'm sorry, not witnesses, people who wanted to stand in support of Sarah?
I have.
And were you sent emails letters about their support?
Several of them, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, while he looks at that, on the GCIC, since it's been.
We don't,
Have you
we have
redacted any
had
personal
no
information
facts
that's
of the
on there?
case.
That's what we may need to do. I haven't seen it
So
yet.
we don't know.
Sometimes there's personal identifying information that needs to be redacted.
I have not, I can provide.
Yeah, well, she said this is her last witness, so the next hour will be the state saying why we shouldn't let her go. So maybe we'll hear something there, or else the arraignment is coming up in September, where they will most likely talk about it. But the only thing that's out there is that she had a suspicious online activity with her TikTok and kind of tried to get TikTokers, true crimers, in on the case. That's all we have. The family stands by her. The other side of the family doesn't. We have nothing else in any of the media I have had time to read.
Okay, either that or we can get my clerk to black it out.
That would be fine.
Okay, all right. State, I'm assuming no objection to making those redactions. I think those would be appropriate.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
No objection.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Rogers, I'm showing you what's been marked, and sorry again for the jump around on numbers. As defense bond exhibits 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Do you recognize those?
Give me a second. I do.
And what are they?
These are character witnesses letters that were sent for Sarah Patrick.
Did you receive those in your email?
I did.
Your state issued email address?
Yes, ma'am.
And have they been changed and altered in any way since you received them in that form?
No, ma'am.
As a matter of fact, did you run those copies for me
I did.
for today?
Yes.
Okay. Seek to admit defense bond exhibits 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9.
Any objection from the state?
No objection.
All right, they'll be admitted.
Now, with those letters,
Well, the pastor kind of said she was more worried about other people's than herself. That's the only mental we have heard so far.
I don't know if the court prefers if Ms. Robbins were to read them or if the court can read them at their meeting.
I'll read
Okay.
This here is
All right, so
Georgia.
those two.
it. And the GCIC.
Now, during the course of me asking you to do some investigation on this case, were you able to determine if Sarah Grace was working at before she was arrested?
She was working at Subway.
Was that Subway in Carrollton, Georgia?
Yes,
And were you able to speak to her supervisor?
I was put on hold. They seemed very busy. I had to call multiple times for someone to even answer the phone.
At any point, did you get a letter from her supervisor?
Yes,
And was that letter one of those letters that we just entered into evidence?
yes, ma'am.
And was that letter in support of Sarah?
Yes,
Now, the GCIC that you ran, and I'm double back into that, did it indicate that Sarah Grace had a driver's license?
no.
Right, I believe it's all that. Thank you.
No problem.
State, any questions?
Just a couple of them.
Okay.
As part of your investigation, did you look into any other areas where the defendant lived over the past 5 years?
I didn't. I spoke with family members, but that's about it.
You don't
Working.
know what other areas she was living in over the past 5 years?
I believe she was living in Fairburn at one point, Sonoya, Georgia at one point.
Fairburn, Sonoma?
Yes,
Was it the only two other than Carrollton that you're aware
yes,
of? Did you look into the alternative school that she attended?
I did not.
Can you call that GCIC one more time for me?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you just tell me what the charges she currently has in this case are?
2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
I have any other questions. Sir.
No problem.
Any follow-up?
Nothing further.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
That's all for witnesses, John. Reserve for argument.
State, you're gonna be up next, but if you're gonna give me just a few minutes, let me read through these letters.
I haven't seen Sideburn like that since Beverly Hills 90210.
Kim Gold.
Swear affirm the statements given before the court today, the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Proceed to speak clearly and loudly in that microphone. You start off by just stating your name and spelling it for court.
Hi, my name is Kim Bowling, K-I-M.
No. Let me take it. The same as that young girl that just up. You take your time. Right. You're not in a rush this morning, so take a deep breath and take your time.
B-O-W-L-I-N-G.
Ms. Gold,
Yes,
can you go ahead and tell us how you related to this case?
Hey, Johnny.
Jamie is my brother, my only brother I have left, my only sibling I have had.
And like the judge said, you take your time. What do you think the judge needs to know about what's going on with you and your family?
I have something to read. Your Honor, my name is Kim Bowling, and I'm Jamie's sister. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Since this tragic day, my brother Jamie and his wife Kristen were taken from us. I have become their voice as they no longer had one. I would like to share how this brutal tragedy has affected me. I not only lost my brother, but also my sister-in-law. And the most
Yes, we are now getting into the victim side of the case. They are the people who will say keep her in prison. We just had all the ones who said, no, she's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with her. She has her paper route and she has to go work at Subways because the meatball sandwich, I haven't been to a Subway in forever. Now the people are going to come to say how she worships the devil and that she should never be let free again.
horrific way imaginable. Every night I lay
It's a
awake,
bonus.
unable to sleep, haunted by the thought of what my brother Jamie and Kristen might have experienced in those final moments. With the possibility that they were awake when the defendant entered their room with a gun. And I imagine their terror in their final breaths. The defendant is charged with the brutal murders of my brother Jamie and my sister-in-law while they were lying in their bed. Shot multiple times, including both shot in the head. He was
Mr. Parrish, can you talk about that? Thank you, Mr.
my 5-year-old niece was then woke up to find their parents lifeless. The trauma this innocent child will carry for the rest of her life is unfathomable. And what makes this even more heartbreaking is that her sister loved the defendant. She looked up to her, and for reasons I will never understand, the defendant caused such imaginable pain. And I'm so thankful that Jaylee's life was spared. With all of this in mind, I am deeply concerned.
This happened in February, late February this year. She was arrested in June. That's why we have the bond hearing now, and the arraignment will be next month. And I don't think we have any subways left in Denmark. Maybe you have one in Kolding, but the last update on their menu was they had a veterinary. I think that was January, so I don't think they're right.
About Jaylee's safety should the defendant be released on bond. Jamie and Kristen had turned their lives around. They were actively involved in church, had found happiness, and were living a great life. They did not deserve what happened to them.
Something happened.
I ask you, please consider the following factors when deciding whether to grant a bond. My first concern is flight risk. The defendant has financial resources provided by the immediate family, which would enable her to flee. Her family maintains that she is innocent, and given her manipulative behavior, I believe she may attempt to flee. Second concern is witness intimidation. The defendant has shown a pattern of intimidation towards family members and others with knowledge of the crime. I fear that if she's released, she will continue this behavior to silence anyone who could testify against her. My third concern is evidence. The brutality of these murders is not in dispute. My family and I have seen the death certificates, and although we are not aware of exactly how many shots were fired, we do know that there were multiple gunshots to both Jamie and Kristen. Personal safety. If the defendant can kill her own parents in such a violent manner, I fear for my own safety and the safety of my family and friends. The possibility that she could harm us is terrifying, and I urge you to consider this in your decision. I believe in our support, and I support our justice system and the hard work of Carroll County Sheriff's Office and investigators. And most importantly, I'm a Christian who believes in Jesus Christ. My prayer is that justice will be served for Jamie and Kristen, and their bond will be denied for the defendant, as she has shown that she is capable of extreme violence and manipulation. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak and share my concerns.
Sandy D. Swaysher is this thing.
Okay. Do you remember any description as far as the size of these men?
Yeah, I remember the size of them. I know I could tell by the Swaysher who the one was, by meeting him different times up there at Paula's. I knew the Swaysher is, get that word right, Swaysher?
Okay. I don't know what that word means, so I'm sorry.
Oh, his style, his walk, his talk.
Okay.
So that is Swaysher. It's from a case out of Florida that we just got. It was one. Every creator has something that becomes something that signifies that their channel. Do we think Sarah is guilty? No, we always believe everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and we have no facts of the case so far. So yeah. Well, we all do, but there's nothing to do about it. Go on Twitch and complain to YouTube because I can't change anything. See, coming in more than half Swacia. That's great. That's not a lot of Swacia. Well, and this is, of course, what we will see a lot of emotion on this side.
Nothing else for this one.
Swear affirm the same gift before this court today, with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. You'll be seated. Speak loudly and clearly in that microphone. Let's start with your name and then spell it, okay?
Yes, sir. My name is Tristan Brock, TrystenBrock.
Mr. Brock, how are you related to this case?
I am James' oldest son.
And what do you think the judge is here?
Yes, sir, I put together a statement for you. Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Tristan Brock. I am James' oldest son. First, I wanted to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to share with the court how my life has been affected by this heinous crime. Your Honor, it feels like I'm living in a nightmare. I'm depressed. I struggle to sleep. I can't even walk through my own living room without seeing his urn and be reminded of everything all over again.
6:30 our time.
I miss my father deeply. I wish I could see him again. I wish he could have met his grandson. And above all, I wish I could just hear his voice one more time. But instead now, what I have is an urn that represents memories we made and the countless memories that will never be. As a little boy, I believed my dad was the strongest Superman, that no matter what happened, he would always be there. But that belief, that dream, is now a shattered illusion. And instead of healing, I find myself reliving the shock, pain, and confusion every single day. I haven't even been able to begin to grieve. Before you make your decision regarding bond, I respectfully ask that you consider several critical factors. First and foremost, I believe the defendant poses a serious...
Well, you could just as well say it doesn't matter how well adjusted she was and that some neighbor took her out and bought underwear. I hate all of this emotional BS that American courts does. In Denmark, you will just do a hearing with a judge, with a defense attorney, with a DA, and they will say, well, there's a substantial flight risk or there's not. There's a possibility they can intimidate the witnesses or try and hide evidence. And if that's substantiated in front of the judge, they'll go back into prison. If it's not, they'll be released. But America, you love emotions.
Flight risk. Her family has significant financial resources and a wide support network, both of which could easily be used to help her evade law enforcement if she were released. These are not speculative concerns. They are grounded in the reality of her background and the means available to her. Additionally, based on her past behavior and what I know of her personally, I do not believe she has the integrity or accountability required to face the consequences of her actions. And we have a court date for Courtney Clenny. She has shown a willingness to avoid responsibility, and in my opinion, she would absolutely attempt to flee rather than stand trial if given the opportunity. In addition to the risk of flight, I am deeply concerned for the safety of my family. The gruesome and violent details of this case have shown me that the defendant has a disturbing lack of regard for human life. If someone is capable of what happened here, then I cannot ignore the real possibility that she could pose a threat to those of us left behind, especially if she were released on bond. This case has already caused immense pain and trauma to my family. The thought of the defendant walking free, even temporarily, only adds to our fear, anxiety, and inability to begin healing. In closing, I just want to say that this loss has left a permanent void in my life and in the lives of everyone who loved my father. He was more than a victim of a terrible crime. He was my father, a husband, a man trying to grow, to change, to build a better life. His death has caused unimaginable pain, and the emotional weight of this tragedy is something I carry with me every single day. All I ask is that the court considers this deep impact that this has had on our family and the ongoing fear, grief, and trauma we continue to live with. I speak today not out of anger, but out of heartbreak, hoping that justice will honor the life my father lived and the future he was fighting for. I urge the court to take all this in account when determining the bond and to prioritize the safety of the community and integrity of these proceedings. Thank you for giving me the chance to be heard.
I don't have any other questions for you.
No question.
Any reason me to hold this witness?
Yeah.
You may step down. Thank you.
The judge say has one more witness. And that would be Kelly Brown.
Kelly Brown.
and they'll be giving a statement on behalf of their 12-year-old son of James Brock. His name is Caden Brock, K-A-Y-E-D.
Well, I don't like that she gets to do it, because that's just testimony that the DA will give. Said, well, there was an incident where she attacked her sister-in-law. Factual, cold-hearted, all of this, crying or jubilant from either side. I don't like it. Law isn't based on emotions. Law is supposed to be blind to all emotions and only look at facts. But I don't like victim impact statements either, because I think it's BS that you can sit and maybe persuade the judge to change a verdict that would have been fair just because you cry better or you smile better than someone else.
Come on. If you remain standing, raise your right hand. You swear affirm, statements make before the court today, the truth,
Yeah.
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right, you may proceed. If you would, speak loudly and clearly in the microphone. Let's start with your name and spelling, please.
My name is Kelly Brown, Kellie Brown. Your Honor, I'm speaking this morning on behalf of the 12-year-old son of Jamie Brock. He is not able to emotionally speak in front of people. He is here in the courtroom today. So I'm just going to read you what he wrote, okay? My name is Jaden Brock, and I'm 12 years old. I wanted to talk today because my dad and stepmom was shot and killed. I miss him every day. My dad was my hero.
Totally not a Russian.
To
We don't know if she's getting bond. This is a hearing from yesterday, and we don't know the result. Totally not a Russian. So no spoilers, please.
the most. We did everything together. He helped me with school, and he always made me laugh, and we joked around a lot. Since he died, everything has changed. I feel sad.
Yeah, but it comes before sentencing, and that's a big problem for me, because again, if you, let's say this girl, she's charged as an adult. I don't know if there is a mandatory minimum in Georgia, but let's say that there is a 20 to life, and you cry hard enough so she gets life in prison, even if the judge might have given her 20 years. That's to me is a problem in the justice system.
Sad and confused. It's hard to sleep. It's hard to focus.
Chat doesn't
and
know
it's
anything.
even hard to
Don't listen
smile
to them.
sometimes. I still wait to hear his voice or see him walk through the door, but I know that will never happen again. What makes me more sad is I trusted Sarah and I loved her like a sister. Why would she do this to me? And why would she hurt everyone like this?
Well,
I don't understand why someone would do this, but I know it is not right. My dad and Kristen didn't deserve this. No one does. And I don't think someone who could do something like this should be allowed to go free right now. I wouldn't feel safe, and I would be so scared. Please think about what my family is going through. I hope you make a decision that protects us and remembers who my dad was. A good man, a loving dad who didn't deserve to die. Thank you for listening to me. And that's his statement.
I don't have the other questions.
Ms. Brown, how are you related to the family or this situation?
I am not related to the family. I grew up with Kim, and I've known Jamie since he was 2.
Okay, friends with Kim and Dave.
Yes, ma'am.
And were you present when that statement was written, or was it just him?
No, I was not present. No. It was written by Jaden, his mom, and Kim helped. I was just asked to read it.
Okay. And they told you that he was here.
Yes.
And you would agree with me that nothing in the letter said that Sarah Grace was a threat to Jaden when they were living together.
He never expressed that to me, ma'am. I would agree with that.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Nothing else.
Any reason to hold this witness, even though she's speaking on someone else's behalf?
Nothing to say.
All right, we'll step down. Thank you.
Well, I can see it if what the. Did Dylan Waltz not die and just went to Georgia to become a judge? Oh yeah, he worked at the Peach Pit. Georgia grows peaches. I solved the case. I am smart. We help pay baker's fees. Yeah, that's why I have to be lenient to some of you. Hey, smarter Harry. I find it very, very weird that you don't just get a written statement. The judge can read it and say, "Well, I saw it and I ruled this way." But hey, it gives me something to stream, and then if this case starts going, we can follow it. And if anyone is interested, the world's greatest knife thrower will be starting her trial, well, jury selection most likely, on the 1st of December. So I will be covering Courtney Clenny hard. Imagine the thumbnails I'm going to make. Contribution to a faster computer for you. Well, I actually talked to the computer. I'd set up a sales meeting, or this is the thing. No, what computer should I buy from your company thing? And he was 10 minutes late, and it's only like a 20-minute meeting. So I called in and said, hey. And the guy I was supposed to have the online meeting with was the guy who took the phone in customer support. So I was like, weren't you supposed to be in an online meeting? Oh, for fuck's sake, yes, I was. But he was a nice guy, and we found a solution. So thank you for contributing to my new PC. And it's very appreciated. Yeah, I'm doing Courtney Clenny. I've seen the pictures. She doesn't look like that anymore, but a guy can dream.
All right. I'm ready for argument.
Just to kind of round out the record a little bit, we're talking about the incident that occurred February 20th of 2025. The arrest date of the defendant was July 9th of 2025. Since we are operating under 15-11-560, that's the concurrent and original jurisdiction in Superior Court, the individual charged in this case was the minor at the time. The rules dictate a specific time frame for us. We have 180 days to indict this case where it goes back to juvenile court. We have 90 days to indict or a bond is required, same as any other defendant here. Because we are looking at Iology State, that's 262 Georgia 704. And in that case, the court has given us some guidelines as to what we should be looking at in regards to issuing a bond. In this case, that was codified in 1761 as well. First is that the defendant poses no significant risk of fleeing from the jurisdiction of the court or failing to appear when required. But we've heard from multiple witnesses that flight is a concern for the family. There are considerable assets on the other side of the victim's family. One thing that the court is permitted to consider in regards to flight, and really all the factors, is the seriousness of the offense. Coleman v. State, a C-O-L-E-M-O-N v. State. That's a 361 Georgia App 901. It's a 2021 case, but it cites all the way back to the mid-70s that it is absolutely acceptable for the court to consider the seriousness of the offense. But we don't just have a murder case here. We don't just have a double homicide. We have a double homicide of the defendant's mother and stepfather. I don't know that cases get more serious than what we are looking at here. That's something that you should consider for each of the four items. As pertains to flight, there was testimony that flight is a concern for the victim's family. It's a concern for the state as well. This defendant has moved around quite a bit over the past few years. She has roots here in Carroll County, no doubt. She also has roots in Coweta, just roots all over the state, and in Alabama. Number two, the defendant poses no significant threat or danger to any person, to the community, or to any property in the community. The family is genuinely afraid. I've met with a significant number of the family already. I'll be meeting with just about everybody else later on this afternoon. The family is genuinely afraid on the rock side of the family tree. They are fearful that she will reach out. They're fearful for their own safety and the safety of all the other members of that family. The defendant poses no significant risk of committing any felonies pending trial. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, but I think there is some inherent risk in that as well. One of those felonies ties into that significant threat or danger to any person. If she is to lash out violently at one of the other family members, that would be a felony. Number four, the defendant poses no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. And it was pointed out that there is concern that the defendant would be able to influence, I'm going to use the term influence instead of intimidate, influence the 6-year-old.
I wouldn't go there.
A primary witness to this case. There's significant concern from the state in that regard. There's significant concern from family members in that regard. We've heard terms like manipulation, lack of integrity, lack of accountability. Those are terms that we heard here in court today. And that is in line with what we've heard about this defendant all along. When you started, you said this is a simple application of the law. That's what we're talking about here. The state has shown that there is a significant flight risk. We've heard that from witnesses in regards to that aspect of Iowa. Significant threat or danger to the community, particularly them. Risk of intimidating witnesses, and that significant risk of committing any felony. That would include influencing a 6-year-old. That would include reaching out and threatening family members. That may, depending on the circumstances, include flight to another county or another state. We just think that at this point, this defendant is a core candidate for bond, and bond should be denied as such.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Judge. I will respond in turn to the state's argument and then go into what it is that we.
No, I am not going to cover Donald Adelson. I'm way too late to the party. I will have to do a lot of catching up. And I made the executive decision this morning that I will not be covering Donna Adelson. I will try and find someone who I would recommend from the good creators, not meaning that I wouldn't recommend someone else. But I will not be covering Donna Adelson because I just don't know enough about the story. So I would be sitting here and say, oh, that guy looks funny. Well, actually, she shot him 35 times in the face and stuffed him in a washing machine. Oh, maybe that's why he looks a little wet. So Adelson will be a no-go. I will try and find something else. I know it's the big case. Everyone is wanting it right now, but I know there will be a ton of people out there covering it. And whenever you come in and say, hey, do you cover it? I will say, no, you should go watch it on this channel or that channel. Because one of the big pitfalls also about being a true crimer is everyone covers the same case and we're all just sitting here spitting the same material. So I would rather admit that I just don't know enough about it. I'm going to stay away from it.
Specifically for Sarah Grace. As it relates to
I never
the
tell you no.
seriousness of the offense, we agree that the offenses are serious. What's happened here is a tragedy on both sides. And while that is something for the court to consider, it is not one of the ideal factors. We understand that the state has brought the.
Well, as long as someone gets charged with a crime like this, of course they will see her as the guilty one. Just think about the O'Keefe family.
Brought family here to voice their concerns. But what is particularly alarming to me is that they have not considered the Nolan side of the family, which would have been Kristen's family. And Kristen's family sits in support of Sarah Grace. And so there are two victims here. While there are victims on the Brock side of the family who voice their concerns for their safety, there are victims of family members who are on the Nolan side of the family who have not voiced that same concern. As a matter of fact, they're here in support of her and willing to have her live with them. The grandfather, who is Kristen's father, Sarah Grace's father, all can live, Sarah Grace can live with them. Multiple people have said that Sarah Grace was invited into their home and they're not even family. So they're willing to have her be a part of their household. With that being said, as far as the influence or threat of influence, as the state puts it, of the 6-year-old sibling of Sarah Grace, there are means for the court.
I already covered as much as there is to cover in Aaron Spencer. There's no court date set up yet. So if you want to hear my take on Aaron Spencer, I did a video on it.
To avoid that contact. If the child, I don't even know that the child is 6. I think the child may still be 5 and have not yet turned 6.
No, this is way different than Carly Gregg. There's not the massive mental illness issues so far.
For a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. The court could restrict that contact just like the court does in any other case where there is alleged to be some weakness where there could be influence. The court could say, I order that there is no contact between Sarah Grace and her younger sibling or any of her siblings for that matter. That can be remedied if that is in fact a concern for the court. What we have shown through our witnesses, Your Honor, is that Sarah Grace does in fact meet the requirements of the statute, in that the court shall be authorized to release a person on bail if they find that they pose no significant risk of fleeing the jurisdiction of the court or failing to appear in court when required, no significant threat or danger to any person in the community or any property, no significant risk of committing any felony pending trial, and no risk of intimidating witnesses no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. As it relates to the financial resources of the family, there has been no testimony as to what those resources are, just that the Rock family believes that the Nolan family or Kristen's family has these grand resources in some regard that could assist Sarah Grace in being a flight risk. If that were the case, Your Honor, again, I remind the court that the incident took place in February, and she had gone to visit the Jensen household in Alabama between that February and July time period. If, for some reason, there was to be this enlightenment that I should run, there was ample opportunity at that time. Caitlyn testified that that Sarah Grace had never asked her to hide her or take her to Alabama permanently or anything like that. In addition, there was testimony as well as documents for the court admitted into evidence that Sarah Grace does not have a driver's license, and that it would be better if she not drive. And she doesn't have her own personal vehicle or access to a car. And so the flight risk.
I'm sure Jemima is trying to look for them.
At this stage, with no driver's
Nothing has
license,
been mentioned
and no
in
meaningful way
articles.
to get around in that regard to be.
The only thing that's mentioned is she had a suspicious activity on the interwebs, which they kind of interpreted that she was trying to get famous off of it. That's all we have so far, and we don't have anything else. There was alluded to something in one of the statements that to me seemed like the mom had drug problems and the dad might have had, stepdad might have had drug problems. So that's what we have. And anyone who is talking about Deaver, Howie Carr an hour ago said, Boston PD says disgraced Grace Officer Kelly Deaver of false memory infamy in the Carrie trial has not resigned. Alan Jackson has demanded of BPD that she be placed on the Brady list as unreliable witness to understate the case. Deaver remains on family medical leave. So Turtle Boy's reporting yesterday must have been a misunderstanding because I saw him report it as well. But according to Howie Carr, she is still on leave.
The significant flight risk, I think, just isn't met. As it relates to a threat or danger to any person in the community, nobody indicated that Sarah Grace was a threat or a danger prior to this incident happening. And what we know is that hindsight is 20/20, and they're looking back on what they believe happened. And we assert Sarah Grace's innocence, and she is presumed to be innocent as she sits before the court.
Yes, she said that.
They're looking back saying if she's capable of doing this, then she must be a threat. But that does not muster what is required to be a significant threat or danger. There's no indication that she has access to any firearm further. The court could order that she not have access or touch or be around or in the home with any firearms or anything like that. As it relates to a significant risk of committing any felony pending trial, that is typically put into the mix when there is a significant criminal history. Investigative Rogers testified that there was no criminal history before Sarah was arrested for these crimes, and there was no, there was documentation as to the GCIC that was admitted in defense bond exhibit 1. In addition to that, Your Honor, she poses no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice, other than Ms. Brock's feeling that she may be an intimidation to the 6-year-old. There's been no evidence, no testimony about there being any type of intimidation that has gone forward from this. Just that they believe she may be manipulative. And I understand that emotions are high, and that's what the Brock family believes. But again, I remind the court that the Brock family is not the only victim's family. There is the Nolan family as well, who do not share those same sentiments. Your Honor, in addition to those IALA factors that are in subsection E1 of the statute, there is subsection E2 of the statute that requires that Your Honor consider the purpose of bail. And we have the purpose of bail is given to us in IALA, which is the purpose of pretrial bond is to prevent punishment before a conviction and to secure appearance in court. There's no indication that Sarah Grace would not be here for any appearances in court. She has several people who are willing to bring her, who testify that they would be in charge of that. And also to prevent the punishment before a conviction. Again, IALA, that the state cited, is very clear that the most fundamental premise of our criminal justice system is that a person ought not be punished for a criminal offense until the state demonstrates guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. IALA goes further to say that unless the right to bail before trial is preserved, the presumption of innocence secured only after centuries of struggle would lose its meaning. So that is the purpose of pretrial bond, is to preserve that presumption of innocence, which Sarah Grace enjoys at this moment. She is cloaked in the presumption of innocence, unless and until the state can prove her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That beyond a reasonable doubt standard is not met at this bond hearing. I know that the state only has the burden of persuasion in this bond, and we have the burden of production. We have met our burden of production, Your Honor. As it relates to her ties to the community,
Not
I do
found.
want to call the court's attention to Dillon v. Edwards, and that is 275 Georgia 458. It is a Supreme Court decision.
275 Georgia.
258. I have a
Thank you.
copy for the court if I may have.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And that discusses what is required as to the burden of production on the defense as to ties to the community. In a murder case, the defendant was charged with malice murder. And the court in this case said that there was a failure of the defense to satisfy that initial burden, because the only testimony presented at the bond hearing on the issue of the defendant's ties to the community came from the investigative officer, who only testified that the defendant lived in Athens, and that was it. There was no evidence that the defendant had continuously lived in Athens for any significant period of time and had any significant involvement with family, friends, or institutions in the community, that he had a job history or that he had a reputation for reliability. Here, the defense has presented those things. So we present Dunn in juxtaposition or in a distinguishing way, and that we have produced several witnesses, 6 to be exact, as well as 8 letters of support showing her ties to community through family, friends.
I'll follow up on
also
all of them later.
institutions in the community. We have the Catalyst Church, the pastor of that church, coming to speak on behalf of Sarah Grace, saying that they would be willing in any way to facilitate her being able to get bond, whether that meant staying there, facilitating somewhere for her to stay. Ties to the community for a juvenile is a bit tricky, for lack of a better term. A juvenile has to go where their parents make them go. And I think that is, if there is a concern about Sarah Grace moving around, there being middle school in East Coweta, and then her from 9th grade on going to Central High School, which would be a 4-year period here in Carrollton. That concern should be tempered with her being a juvenile at the time and her having to move wherever parents would have her to be. So
Baker isn't my last name. It's my profession I had. I have a very hard time listening to this woman. Don't they have a microphone? And she's talking really fast. I don't know what her argument is.
that is the demonstration of ties to the community. Any risk to the community, I point the court's attention to Crickmore v. State, and I provided the court as well as the state copy. And that's 327 Georgia Act 368. It's a Georgia Court of Appeals case where they talk about they do an interlocutory review of denial of pretrial bond for this client, and that there was not testimony regarding their ties to the community, and that there were multiple convictions of that defendant for driving under the influence, and then there was proper evidence of three previous convictions for the same thing. I present that in distinction and in juxtaposition. So what we have here with Sarah Grace is that she has absolutely no criminal history and is therefore not a risk to the community and not a risk to reoffend. Again, what has happened here is in fact a tragedy, and we are sorry for what has happened, but we assert and lean upon the presumption of innocence that is required by our justice system. In this case, bond denial is not proper, Your Honor. We have met the IAA factors. We have met our burden of production through both testimonial and admitted evidence. And I also want to relate to the court that the court not only has whether or not there's a bond amount set for bond, but the court also has other tools in its toolbox and can impose conditions or a combination of conditions in order to make sure that Sarah Grace is not a flight risk or risk to the community or anything like that. The court can impose conditions such as no social media or phone or phone privileges, ankle monitor, house arrest. The court has all of those tools in its toolbox to ensure that her presence is secure, and also that if she's on house arrest or has a curfew or ankle monitor, that she's not somewhere she can be. Technology is a beautiful thing. And what we have now is a GPS system that can tell you exactly where a person is at all times. And so through the courts, that can be ordered, and there can be those conditions placed on the bond. In addition to that, Your Honor, because of her age, Ms. Patrick is being held in solitary confinement at the jail because the Sheriff's Department is concerned about putting her to general population. Courts have struggled with whether prolonged stay in solitary is constitutional or violative of the Eighth Amendment, especially in young people. So I just want to present that for the court's consideration.
She talks too fast.
Again, I ask this court to protect the presumption of innocence. Based on everything that's been presented here today in court, not just the seriousness of offenses, not just this arbitrary concern that all of a sudden now people may be in danger, looking in hindsight, but based on real witnesses and testimony and presented documentation that Sarah Grace Patrick is a candidate for bond. You know, Your Honor, this profession requires that we not only struggle with doing the right thing, which is what society says is right at the moment, but we must also do what is right, and that is the notion of justice. And the just thing, and what is right in this case, will be granting Sarah Grace Patrick pretrial release.
Thank you, sweet. Anything else, Ms. State?
Just very briefly, Judge, to point out a couple just factual issues I want to be clear more on the record. Our office, as we do in every case, did reach out to the victim's family on both sides. It is my expectation that I will be meeting with the Nolan family later on this afternoon, as soon as we are done here in court, to talk to them. They are victims in our case as well. We have a different posture in terms of the guilt of the defendant, but that is something that we do with every single case. So the fact that the line has kind of been drawn in the sand, the state must reach across that line either way, then we would do it even if we weren't statutorily required. I know that there are victims in this case. They are hurting, and we will do everything we can to help them as well. Judge, as pointed out by opposing counsel, Ayala v. State is the case on point. And opposing counsel is correct that their burden generally, to kind of put a very simple, broad brush on it, is that they are to only really proffer towards the community ties. They've done that. I don't doubt that she has ties to the community. I don't doubt that the defendant has people who care about her. She has a flight list. We need to specify that they own so much land because they have different business holdings. We don't. The testimony is clear that they have the assets to send her out of state or to far away places farther than that if it was necessary. She is a flight list. That is the state's position. She is a flight list. And the other factors that we've talked about, the family is genuinely afraid. We always operate in hindsight in cases like this. No one ever knows that someone is violent until they are violent. That's why the family is scared at this point, because now, in their eyes, the defendant has shown her true self, who she really is. So, of course, they would be fearful now than they would be beforehand. We did hear some testimony regarding disciplinary issues and the fact that this individual has had to attend an alternative school. This was a loving family. This was a caring family. They were working with her to get her into a position where she could have a fruitful life. And we ended up where we ended up. As far as the issues regarding what's going on in the jail, that's an issue for the sheriff's office. I know that they are prioritizing.
No, because they'll keep her in prison until the arraignment to see if, so she can't influence any witnesses. Because they are still investigating the case at this point. The arraignment will be, I think, 22nd or the 12th of September.
For safety at this point, I don't think it will be forever that she is in isolation. And as far as all the other factors, Judge, I just think that when you apply the law to all of the testimony that we heard here today. She's just not a good.
I think it's based on what has been presented here today. One side says she's an angel, the other one says she's a devil.
Candidate for bond at this point.
But we'll hear the judge's ruling, I think.
The state had met its burden as well. We just think that this individual should be denied on this one.
All right, thank you. All right, while I consider this,
What's that teen movie? Was it? Yeah, that's the one where she takes off her glasses and lets her hair down. She does pottery. Was it Freddie Prinze Jr. or Chris Evans? He looks like that in that movie. I love back in the 90s where when ladies just took their glasses off and let their hair down, they also instantly got makeup and better lighting. And their boobs moved 5 centimeters higher.
I do want to say, Ms. Williams, right?
Yes, sir.
You've not been in front of me before, and Mr. Parrish, I believe this is one of your times performing in front of me as well. I commend both of you for being professional, and I look forward to working through this case with both of you. Pastor Bonner mentioned that we are the jury, and we are not the jury. My job as a judge is simply to make sure that the law is followed, and that court is done in a fair and just manner. That's my role, to make sure that everyone follows the law and that everyone stays within the rules, and I make sure that that's done. We are not the jury. And as of right now, Ms. Williams did correctly state the law that this is not the trial, and it is not the burden to prove her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt today. That is not who we are. And for those that are here, I don't want y'all to misunderstand and confuse the burdens and think that's where we're at today, because that is not where we are. On a motion for bond, defense has a burden of coming forward initially with evidence to show that the defendant does not pose a significant risk of fleeing, threatening the community, committing another crime, or intimidating a witness. And then it is the state has the burden of persuasion in convincing this court that the defendant is not entitled to pretrial release. The state has the burden of proving by a preponderance of the evidence that the trial court should deny bail or bond. And there's a vast difference in beyond a reasonable doubt in preponderance of the evidence. Preponderance of the evidence is essentially greater than 50%, or it's just a greater likelihood than the other side. That is vastly different than beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. And I need everyone to understand that. My job is to evaluate the witnesses, weigh their credibility as they testify before me, and apply what the witnesses have said and apply their credibility to the law the best I can. Make sure that I've covered what I need to and what I've heard from several folks. All right. With that being said, and listening to the witnesses here, if I weigh these witnesses' testimonies and I weigh what I hear today, I believe those closest, and I say closest in family relationship, expressed that they had vast concerns that she would have the ability to flee, that she would be a danger to the community, that she would be a danger to them, that she would be pose a significant risk of intimidating, or actually I think the state steered away from intimidating, or influencing and manipulating witnesses. By finding that, I find the state has met their burden today by a preponderance of the evidence. And Miss Patrick, because of that, I'm bound by the law, and I do not believe that you would be a proper candidate for bond at this time. With that being said, here's what I want to tell you. Very recently, the Judicial Council of Georgia recognized our court as being a clearance rate excellence award recipient, which means that we are very up to date on our cases and we take great pride in moving cases quickly. I do not want anyone to sit in jail unnecessarily. So what I would like to do is go ahead and give you future court dates. And I'll explain this, Ms. Williams, a little bit, because again, I know you're new to be in front of me, but I would like to go ahead and give you some future dates for your case.
Everyone who says, well, she's young, she's everything. Remember, he's judging her on the charges brought against her. She is accused of shooting 2 sleeping people in her in the face or wherever she shot them. So he can't just look at her and says she's 17 years old. She's 17 years old, but accused of killing her mom and stepdad. He has to weigh that as one of the factors. He's not looking at a 17-year-old girl. She's looking at an accused murderer. So it doesn't matter she's 17 years old. It matters the charges brought against her. They will then have a period while she's in prison without the bond to further build on that. Maybe at the next arraignment or the next bond hearing, she'll be let out because there's no proof that she's a danger to anyone else. But he has to look at the charges against her. The arraignment hasn't been had yet, so it does matter the charges against her.
Obviously, your case has to be indicted first. All right, that's the first.
Again, who the F is afraid of a 17-year-old girl? If it's true she shot 2 people in the face, you might be intimidated by her. You have to take that into account as well at this point of the bond process.
Process. Do we know when this case will go in front of the grand jury?
I'll be presenting to the grand jury this afternoon.
All right. If the grand jury chooses to indict you, right, that would be to true bill the case. That means the case goes forward. If they choose to no bill it, then we'll cross that bridge. But if they choose to true bill, then your case will go forward. And I'll ask the clerk, which would be the next available arraignment that we could place her on. All right. So, and that's not the probation counter, correct? All right. So your arraignment, if true bill, okay, I'm just giving you a plan of action so that you know what's coming up. Okay. If they true bill this case, your arraignment date will be 9/22. On that date, your non-jury will be 11/17. Your counter call will be 12/16, and I will be prepared to try your case on January 5th. All right. Now, that's incredibly fast. State and defense. I'm completely aware that y'all may ask for continuance based on those timeframes. I'll need y'all to do that formally. There's a lot of interest in this case from both sides, and defense was right. Justice needs to be done, and no matter what decision was made, someone is going to feel as though justice was not served today. That's just the truth. If I would have granted bond, there would have been a large group that said justice was not done. If I deny bond, as I'm doing today, there's going to be a large group that says justice was not done. That I can't avoid. But what I can do is give this young lady speedy justice, and that's my purpose. Again, my role is to make sure the law is followed, and I do the best I can to facilitate that. So I will be ready. If state or defense, if y'all have issues, because I'm fully aware that issues come up with discovery and with cases that oftentimes are out of either of your control. And for the best interest of the state or for the best interest of your client, you may need to ask for continuance. The state that's in my courtroom quite often, Ms. Williams, they know I'm very reluctant to give continuances. So if y'all need that, I need y'all to file a proper motion, and it's likely we'll have a formal hearing on whatever requests for continuances need to be heard, if they're needed to be heard. If not, I'm going to stick with this time frame. Again, she's in custody, so she takes priority on my trial list, as everyone knows. Also, her age. Defense, you brought to my attention that she is in isolation. So again, it's top priority for me to move this case as quickly as possible. I would say that I would ask the sheriff office to do the best they can to acclimate her with folks, but I know that our sheriff is going to do their very best, and I can't direct them on safety, and their top priority is her safety. Same as mine is to make sure that justice is done to the best of my ability. Hers is to keep her safe, and so we'll do that. So those are the dates. Any questions, Ms. Williams or the state, about those dates?
Not going to say that.
Ms. Williams?
Not a question, but we're telling the state, and I did file my issue again for discovery on July 11th. And I have not received any discovery. If the state will turn over that discovery as soon as possible, I'll be ready when January comes. Okay. It's my understanding that this office in particular has an open file policy, so I'm assuming that they're going to probably have available to you whatever they have now very quickly. And they know my practice of moving quickly, so I think they'll try to accommodate that as well. Anything else, Ms. Williams? No, Your Honor. Anything else from the state?
Nothing to say.
All right, that'll be the order of the court. Everybody has their.
So she will not be let out yet. The grand jury was to convene yesterday to see if they wish to indict her or not. We haven't heard anything else, so assuming most likely they will be indicting her. And I said, wouldn't they have found a pew-pew in the house if she did it? This case has me confused. Well, we don't know the facts of the case because they haven't been presented to us yet. what has been presented to us is just the emotional strain and how dangerous they believe this young woman is. According to the grandfather, who supports her, no pew was found. One door was ajar at the house. There's no evidence of forced entry that we have heard of. So again, right now we are in the very, 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 very early stages of a case. Normally, we don't get in on the ground floor. We'll normally get in a couple of hearings in, maybe first at trial when we can read about what the evidence purportedly would show. But I thought it could be a good thing to see a bond hearing because we don't see them often, especially not one pre-arraignment. So the charges haven't really been brought against her yet. And I think it's very confusing to some people that the judge didn't say, well, she's a 70-year-old girl. What could she do? She doesn't have any money. No, but she has a support network that has the money. And they could pay for her if they wanted her to flee. It's exactly the same thing as in Courtney Clenny, who is a 28-year-old, because she had the opportunity to spread her legs on every webcam, on every Wi-Fi in the world. She was deemed a flight risk. She didn't have much of a history either. And she claims it was an accident throwing a knife. So they are treated equally because the nature of the crime they have been committing. And remember again, age is not the end all be all factor in these cases. It's the type of crime you're doing. We just had a case where was it 6 teenagers was either arraigned or went to court for killing a 16-year-old. So it's the nature of the crime that has to weigh in on the punishment or on the bond condition as well. So she has a network. That network have shown significant support for her. So the judge have to say, well, maybe that would also help her escape. So I think at this point, this is most likely the right decision. And then the state will have, they had a grand jury yesterday where they will have to provide the evidence. Grand juries are bullshit because they'll indict anything. But still, they will have to present some kind of evidence why they believe. And if all of their evidence is she said something stupid on Twitter or TikTok or whatever, they don't have anything. But we haven't heard anything about how the household was. Maybe that those parents were stricter than her biological dad. Is that enough for her to unalive? Does she have mental health issues? Is there drug abuse? We know nothing about that. We have only seen the angel and the devil presented by people around her. Now we'll have to get to the facts because this is what all trials always end up in. It'll be heavily tribal. They did it, they didn't do it. And there's no middle ground because people will fight constantly. And actually, the jury's job is to try and find out where's the truth in the middle. Somewhere in the middle is where we find the truth. Did they do it or didn't they do it? And it's interesting, but we have no facts so far. So all I can say is she is innocent until proven guilty, like every other criminal in America, even the ones I want to punt into the sun because I find them heinous. This girl, because she is a girl, not like the lady yesterday who called herself a girl. This girl will have her next hearing coming up in September, where we will find out more. Because after the grand jury, they will probably write a piece of paper with the facts that they claim supports the charges against her. And at that point, we can then begin to speculate a little bit more about what potentially happened that day. But right now, all of it is kind of based on nothing. I do like the judge, though he seemed very aware and on the side of getting the case done. Yes, and he gave a good explanation of why he had to do what he had to do, because he had to do what he had to do. That's the thing. This was the right decision at this point in the trial. And we can agree, we can disagree, but again, she is charged with 2 murders. After today, we will have to see what does the grand jury find, what charges will be brought. They were talking about maybe instead of 4 charges, there will be 8 charges against her, but we just don't know yet. And until we know, let's not over speculate about anything because we have no proof of anything. It's just a fun little tidbit about getting in on the ground floor on a case. And now the real work starts. The police, of course, have looked at this case before, but now the defense have to find out what evidence does the police have, how can we counter that evidence. The police have to figure out how do we present it. Should we just get some guy who say mist means torrential rain? This is fascinating. I don't like that you're sitting here trying to use emotions, because emotions has nothing to do with the law. But it's America, and I have to learn that that's how it works in America. The fact that she was free from February to June and now they have worries about her fleeing, she should have been long gone already. Well, they didn't think she did it in February, apparently, or they didn't have enough, because they can't just go to the scene and say, we don't have a pew-pew, you did it, you go to prison. Because they will also have to go in front of a judge and have him say, yeah, that's okay, she can stay in prison. They have to have some kind of theory that they can present to a judge and say, we really want to arrest this woman because she also has certain rights. So sometimes they need to work a case. Sometimes they need to work 27 years and they get Nancy Grace on the case. But her going free till July or June, or when June. Apparently, she had some weird behavior on TikTok. We can't go see it because the account doesn't exist anymore, which also makes me wonder, because in Denmark, it's illegal to be on TikTok before you're 18. They are everyone anyway. But could that be... It could have been really fascinating to watching all of those social media, because young people are way too oversharing on social media. So we could potentially have learned a lot about her by watching her TikToks. I would then have had to go out and kiss a moving train, because TikTok are only for simpletons. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you are watching it. Every time I see my daughters on TikTok, I want to take their phone, stamp on it. It really is a stupid media made to make you dumber. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it and see where it leads us. Yeah, we need Nancy Grace on the case. In Norway, if they fear they will flee or mug up the evidence, they just keep them in custody in a tiny cell alone. There's no bail. No, but they'll have to do a hearing in Denmark, it's every 2 weeks. They'll have to have a hearing where they have to present evidence to the judge that they can still influence the investigations. There's no jury in that part. There's just a judge where they'll come in and say, well, we're still afraid he's going to call his biker gang members and tell them to go chop up this person, or they have all the evidence. There's no one he can influence anymore. So there'll be a hearing. I believe it's every 2 weeks in Denmark. You'll have to have it, all every month. So you have to do it. Well, don't give him TikTok. Yeah, 2 to 4 weeks, I think, is the same schedule we have. Nancy Grace is a friend with Kathy Daffy, and she's also a friend with the one who I can call him, I think her name is, who runs that Zone 7. Are you persuaded by emotions? No. I am a cold-hearted bastard, and I get annoyed if you're overly emotional. I can understand it. Some people will affect me a lot. I have one witness I will never forget, but that wasn't because she was overly emotional or anything. It was because she was totally devoid of any emotion, and she had so much makeup on. It looked like she had one of those white kabuki masks from Japan on her face. And she was so sorry that she was raped multiple times by a monster of a man. And I can just remember her sitting there, and the POS defense attorney called her back to testify, even though she had suffered from eating disorders since it happened, several mental breakdowns where she had to be hospitalized. He called her back just to ask her, well, you claim he raped you that night, but didn't you sleep with him another time voluntarily? She said, I was so afraid, and he had my address. So, yes, I went to bed with him, but I didn't want to, but I was so scared. Yeah, but you didn't say that was rape, did you? No, because I accepted it. And there was one, like you see the Indian statue, there was just one tear running down her cheek. I will never, ever forget the face of that woman. She was totally destroyed by a man who did it out of some sick, narcissistic belief. We get mental professionals to look at people like that, and they said he was absolutely out there. But that woman, I will always remember her face. I can't remember her name, but I will always see her face in front of me. I am more German than most Germans. I don't have emotions. I don't believe it helps you sitting, crying, screaming. You just move on. Do I use sugar when you bake? Depends on what I'm baking. But if I'm baking a cake, yeah, always. If I could change one aspect of US trial procedures to instead be what Denmark is in place and vice versa, what would you do? In Denmark, I would open up the courts for the audience. In America, I would remove all the lawyers, put them in a room, and say the next one who thinks this is a TV performance or a theater is gonna. The rest of you get to unalive them. You go in, you present the facts, and you go out. Don't do all this flourish. Oh, I need an hour and a half to say, well, the guy didn't do it because he wasn't there that night. Don't work. I hate opening statements because it turns into a history lesson and it has no evidentiary value, they claim, but of course it does because this is how you serve the steak. Do you serve it in a trough of shit or do you serve it on a nice dinner plate? So you can be a good actor and sway the jury. That is not what it should be. The fact should carry the case. America is ruined by you have way too many lawyers. Jury instructions, they should be cut down to these are the charges. To meet the burden of a murder trial, you must find this. And then you say the 4 pins that you need, not the. And then if your mother once had a black eye and you were outside and you got a sniffle because of the wind, and it's way too long, it's way too slow, and it's way too stupid. And it's because you have way too many lawyers. And every single lawyer thinks that they should be able to change the court system because they are smarter than the rest of all the lawyers who have come before them. Cut down the theatrics. Fix your fucking sound systems and just keep to the facts. And all the judges should rule fairly, but that's really hard to say. Denmark, I would open the courtrooms up more so we could get more coverage. Maybe I would like a little more interaction in the objection, not objection, but we don't see much of that because, again, we play by the rules. We don't do all the shenanigans we see in American courtrooms because this is not a TV show. This is a courtroom. So, yeah, that's what I would wanted. What is who something? I just watched all of it and I want Baker to watch it. Watch what? I can't follow along when I'm ranting. I don't know. Well, you can have him. I'm very loving to my kids and baby Baker and stuff like that. But in a courtroom, emotions. When I enter the courtroom, I do this. And I try to have that same expression for the next 4 to 6 hours, how many hours I have to sit there. Because I am just a pillar of salt. I don't participate in the trial. I just listen, take my notes, go into the back of the room and say, this idiot thinks he's Jesus. Are you crazy? And then I'll go back in and he'll sit and talk about how he's Jesus. And I'll be sitting like this again. And I do it with every case because I'm chosen for a reason. It is to help them find justice. I'm not chosen because I'm good at crying. Yeah, instructions are also complicated in high-strung English. Can't we keep it simple? Yeah, just tell us. When we go back, I need to make my dinner before we start the next trial. When we go back in the room, they will read to us what is aggravated assault. What does the law say? This is aggravated assault. Did they prove that to you? That is the two questions. The one question we will have. Did they prove these things? For it to be aggravated assault, you must blah, 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 blah. No, they didn't prove that. Okay. Could it be simple assault? Yeah, because he punched him in the face, but it was a slap, wasn't a punch. And okay, so we can downgrade it to simple assault, and then we find him guilty. Okay, if he's guilty, what do we want to sentence him? And then we'll go over that criminal record to say, could we give him maybe parole? Can we give him, why can't I ever remember, civil service jobs, or must he go to prison? It takes way less. A normal verdict is probably in my level of the court system. Of course, you have complicated cases, but most cases I do because it's just assault, drugs, kitty diddling, the occasional grape. Grape takes a little longer because we have to look at certain elements to prove that was it grape or wasn't it grape. Did she participate? Didn't she participate? Did he do something so she couldn't get away? Stuff like that. But a normal assault case where someone got into a fight and punched someone in the face, or my murder case I think my murder case, our verdict was done within 45 minutes because it was just an open and shut case. He beat the ever-living shit out of that poor woman. Another victim I will always remember. But I would say most of my verdicts are 30 minutes. Go in, read the charge, discuss, did they prove it, did they not prove it? The judge starts writing the verdict, and we'll discuss, okay, these are the sentencing guidelines from previous rulings in the Supreme Court. What do we think? 45 minutes is probably a long, normal verdict. I don't know. I don't have time for everything. The Sun video about Sarah. Oh, I'll watch it later at some point. Yeah, everyone, we're going to see each other again in 40 minutes. I need to eat before we see each other. We will be going back to Georgia just like the devil. And we're going to watch Marissa. When you interrupt me while I'm signing off, it'll take me longer to sign off. I'm going to go eat. And you all go get some food because we won't be having any lunch break. We should be going till around 5 o'clock today. The state has one potential 2 witnesses left. We need a DV expert who's going to come in and tell us every man in the history of history is a DV molester type, and every woman is a victim and has PTSD. And we might also have an ME. But other than that, it's about time the state starts. Sorry, there's a delay. There's 10 seconds delay. But I was about to sign off. But thank you so much, Melissa. Melissa. Oh, I was to keep it quiet that you used to live in Georgia and you faked your own death. And you just changed a few letters. But thank you, Marissa. Well, look out the windows. Pigs flying around as well. But get ready to, if you're a man, be called a DV perpetrator. If you're a woman, get your victimhood on.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100. Because it is 100% correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All
right, I'm in love. Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.